Hey guys, welcome back to I'll Read What She's Reading. I'm Kennedy.
I'm Reggie.
I'm Michaela. Sorry.
We never know which, since we sit, like, if whoever's starting in the middle, we never know who's saying their name next.
My bad.
No, that was my fault. I was looking at Reggie, and then Reggie was looking at me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me. So thanks for saving that, Reggie.
Yeah, no problem.
Today's episode is highly requested Iron Flame.
Iron Flame.
Flamin'.
Don't know why I did that.
There's like so much we could talk about.
Okay.
I don't even know. I mean, sorry, go ahead, Michaela.
No. You were talking first. I was
just gonna say I know what you guys rated the book, but I know we usually start our episodes off with that. But did you have something you want to start with instead?
I just wanted to let you guys know that this episode's probably going to be all over the place because we have lots of thoughts and feelings, and so it's not going to be very well organized, which you guys know us by now. Most of our episodes are not the most organized episodes, but I think it makes things more fun and entertaining. So just be prepared that our feelings and thoughts will probably be all over the place.
And also, it's not going to be a super in-depth deep dive on this book. There are so many podcasts out there that do deep dives. We just we just aren't one of them.
I just feel I really appreciate when people do that. It's mostly people who do like a reread of the book.
Yeah.
I just don't have the patience to do that. And I like to be able to sit down and read the book as is, have my experience with it. And if I want to go back and reread it at a different time, I can.
I can't reread books like right after.
Yeah.
If you can, good for you.
If I'm just reading for like I'm being very meticulous about, and I'm keeping a notebook of I can't enjoy my reading experience. I know some people really enjoy that, but that's not how we read books. So this episode is just going to be more, and if you haven't read Fourth Wing, you need to read Fourth Wing first. And if you haven't finished Iron Flame, come back to this after you finished it. But yeah, this will just kind of be like our overall thoughts, feelings, ratings, maybe potential theories for the next book. Yeah.
Yep.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I feel like you'll share it later, Michaela, but I want you, we'll get there when we get to theories and stuff. I'll make sure you share what you said, because I was like, that's actually so true.
I don't remember what I said, so I'm glad you remember.
I was like, you said, you want to share? Should I share it? Yeah.
What did I say?
You said, so you were talking about rereading the book.
Okay.
I'm trying to jumpstart your brain a little bit.
just
Basically,
No
Michaela's a
recollection.
genius, and she said, because obviously once you finish a book, you go on TikTok to see all the theories and stuff, and I don't know about you guys, but I kept seeing TikToks that said things you missed on your first read of Iron Flame.
Oh, yes. Okay. You continue.
No, you said it.
I don't remember all of it that I said.
Basically, what Michaela said is, I shouldn't have to read a book multiple times in order to understand everything that's happening in the book.
Amen.
Okay, I do remember saying that now.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. We've just
been talking. We've been digesting a lot in our reading.
Okay, maybe let's share our ratings.
Yeah.
You go first, Reggie.
I need to pull up my rating. I think I gave it 4 stars. And I saw a lot of ratings. I was a little nervous because on my Goodreads, so many people were just giving it 5 stars. There was even 2 of my friends who were like, this is so much better than Fourth Wing. And I was like, I hate hearing that before I read a book. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. And while I would have loved to give this book 5 stars because I really do love the story and I really do love the characters. I love Rebecca. I love this world. There were just a few things with it that, kind of like we were just talking about, there was a lot that I kind of kept going, huh? And there were so many times. There was one point where I texted in the group chat with you guys And I was like, who the heck is so-and-so? I can't remember the character. And you guys were all like, who? And you had already finished it. You're like, who? And then it took me like 2 pages to keep reading to be like, oh, that's who it is. I feel like there were a lot of characters that didn't really get formally introduced. They're just like names are thrown in there, and then we're expected to remember like who they are and what their signet is and who their dragon is. And I'm just like, there's just these names that get thrown around. I also felt like the thing I did really like about this book, though, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I felt like it kept my attention because it wasn't like, so many people were saying that the first like 150 pages were really hard for them because there was so much information being dumped. But I do feel like there were just so many spurts of like action throughout the book that it wasn't like it was all saved for the end. I was a little worried that that's what was going to happen because that's how Fourth Wing was so like this and then this and then this. So I did like that it like kept my attention. I did enjoy reading it. There were just so many moments where I was like scratching my head like, wait, what's going on? And I just think it was because I don't know how quickly Rebecca wrote this book after Fourth Wing. I know a lot of people were saying, you know, there are a lot of printing errors and editing errors and whatever. And I do appreciate that she got this book in her hands so quickly. But like, I don't know. There were just like a few gaps where I was a little confused. And I know that some of you listening are probably like, I wasn't confused at all. But
all 3 of us were.
Mm-hmm. There were just so many times, and I can't even like think of specific things off the top of my head. But I would like finish a chapter and I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, why are they at this place? I just felt like there were things about it that felt maybe a little rushed. But one thing I said in my review was that there were simply just some things that weren't clicking like I felt like they should. And I didn't feel like I should have felt as lost as I was feeling while reading this book. So that's why I couldn't give it 5 stars. But I feel like the overall story, the ending, how I was entertained, my heart was racing, I cried, I felt all the emotions reading this book. I just couldn't give it 5 stars for those reasons. Sorry if that was very long-winded.
No, makes sense.
I loved it.
What about you, Michaela?
I feel like I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but my rating is probably more 3.5. I rounded up because obviously the ending was a big bomb drop.
Mm-hmm.
I am just really sick of authors. I appreciate Rebecca's mind and her world she's built, but I feel like she drops a bomb at the end of her books and people are on the high of that and rate the book super high and forget 90% of the book. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of scenes where she would sort of describe things and I'd be like, I don't understand at all what is going on. I can't picture this scene. I can't picture what they're going through. All I know is there's a cliff or a ledge or a rock.
Scene, I kept being like, wait, the cliff is falling? What is happening?
Were they going up a cliff or were they I couldn't. Yeah.
I don't there's just a lot of things that for me was missing. And my opinion might be unpopular, but I think we should have not gotten this book as soon. I probably would have appreciated it more if more time was put into it so that I could better understand things without having to reread the entire book again to understand things. And yeah, there's just a lot of things that I had question marks about. And I mean, she writes a mean sex scene because I mean that's the only thing that I could fully understand.
That was very descriptive.
Yes, it was.
However, there were a few things that I was like, I'm just a very visual reader. And so there were sometimes it was hard for me to visualize what was happening because it was more like what was happening rather than what is it that they say like in English class?
I think
I was gonna
show,
say don't tell.
Yeah, it's like show, don't tell. And she did a lot of telling and not showing. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Anyways, I honestly am a little bit disappointed in this book. And anyways, we'll go more into depth about stuff after Kennedy gives her review. I'll stop talking.
Mine was also 4 stars. And literally for the same reasons both of these guys already shared. I applaud everybody that rated it 5 stars. And I'm so happy for you that you felt like it was a 5 stars. But for me, I don't know if you guys agree, but everything that I looked past in Fourth Wing, you know, the whole character thing, and she would just drop someone's name and I had no idea who they were. All the things that I kind of was like, I looked past a little bit in Fourth Wing was still in Iron Flame, even worse. And I just couldn't look past it. Like, I just couldn't be like, oh, this was such a fun read, I'm still going to rate it 5 stars. It was a good time. There was just still those same problems that Fourth Wing had. And I couldn't give it 5 stars. I wanted to so bad. I was so excited, but I do agree in the sense where I wish maybe it would have been a year in between. And I don't know if you guys have seen on Goodreads, there's an official publication date for the next book, which I believe is
December 1st.
Yes, of next year. And I've been seeing people really upset that it's going to take so long because we got Iron Flame,
6 months later?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
But I'm happy about it. I want her to take her time and really dive in and just make sure everything makes sense, because that's just what I expect. I hate comparing fantasy authors, but you know, it's like there just was never any callbacks. It was like something would be introduced and then it would just be dropped. I don't know.
I will say one thing I really appreciated about this book, and sometimes I'm not the best at like catching things, but there was like some foreshadowing in this book that I really appreciated. I do feel like Rebecca's pretty good at foreshadowing things, but it's just like calling things back that is maybe one thing she lacks a little bit. But I feel like there was something specific I wrote down that she...
Maybe this book is the book... I'm trying to relate it back. What's the book that Manon gets introduced in?
I think it's Queen of Shadows.
I hated Queen of Shadows. It was probably one of my least favorite books when I was reading the Throne of Glass series. Now I would say it's probably one of my favorites. So I wonder if it's just one of those books where she's setting up all these bigger things to happen in next books, and maybe we'll appreciate it a little bit more, because I feel like there were so many things that were brought up and then just dropped. And I'm like, okay, well, what about this? Or what about this? So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. The one foreshadowing example I wanted to share that I did catch is, and I realized this like after the fact, there was like, I think it was more than once that Violet asks Xaden a question about someone, like, can we really trust them or whatever? And he's like, he says explicitly, he says, his intentions are clear, just trust me. Mm-hmm. Or they have very clear, I promise you he has clear intentions, or he says that a few times. So I thought that was kind of cool, because it was like when that bomb was dropped of like, he has this second signet. And that's what it was. I was like, oh, that makes sense, because he's told her like a time or two throughout this book already, like his intentions are clear, or her, you know, which I thought was cool.
Or did you guys notice that sometimes he would know what she wanted before she wanted it? Mm-hmm. Or he would know what she was going to ask. And I always thought it was just because they had that bond.
Yeah, and like really good chemistry.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Which kind of was like a little disappointing for me. A little bit, because I was like, I don't know. I feel like she was so upset at him from the end of Fourth Wing, you know, and she was like holding that grudge for a while. Like, I don't know if I could trust him. But then he like drops the second signet on her, and she was a lot more like understanding and like didn't hold as much of a grudge. But I feel like I'd be a little more pissed in a way, because it's like, I'd almost kind of feel like the things you feel for each other would almost feel a little less real. I don't know.
I feel like I would be pissed about the signet thing, but also I could not agree with Violet and her being mad at Xaden. First off, she's a first year. She just got to a second year and she expects to know everything and be a part of everything.
Yeah,
Girl,
she drove me a little bit nuts.
slow down. You're not that important. Like, you are, but like, I don't know. I was annoyed pretty much the entire book.
I feel like in Fourth Wing, she went from feeling like so weak and vulnerable. And I love that she had some character development of growing to become a lot more confident in herself. But I feel like she went from feeling so weak and just like worthless to all of a sudden being like, I'm the best writer out there. Like, I'm the best. I got the best. And I know she has like pretty much the best dragon. She has one of the most powerful signets, but it's like she just was like so insanely confident in this book at times that I was like, oh, like I wanted to see a little bit more. I don't know.
She was weirdly confident, but also weirdly insecure.
She's just insecure about, I don't know. I guess she was just insecure about Xaden. But he literally the entire time just said, like, trust me, like, you'll need to know, like, when you need to know things, you'll know things. But she was like, I need to know them now.
Well, and the amount of times that she was, like, keeping things from her family to protect them, it's like he was doing the same thing for her, and she just couldn't understand that.
Also, every time Xaden said something, she opened her big fat mouth and told someone.
That's
Every
true.
single time. Every single time. So I wouldn't trust her. She literally told everyone. Like, obviously she told her squad, but that's why Xaden wasn't telling her things, because every single time she would open her fat mouth.
But also,
sorry, that was so mean.
he also was worried because there's Dane. There's that whole Dane thing
And she
where he
couldn't
can read
control
his
herself.
mind. Yeah, she couldn't completely shield her mind. So, of course he's not going to tell her everything, because she would what's the word I'm looking for?
Block.
She would risk the whole resistance being found out.
I don't know. I just couldn't.
I will say,
I was on Xaden's side for the most of it.
the
Same.
one thing that annoyed me about him was the fact that he was like, you have to ask the right question. I'm like, okay.
That was annoying too.
Okay, just tell her. Like, if she needs to know something, just tell her. Don't make her ask the right question. That's stupid.
That is
Yeah.
stupid. I don't know. I guess I was just so disappointed in their relationship in this book. Because
They're just both a little bit toxic.
I was disappointed in their relationship, but I really liked, in my opinion, I think we saw a lot of growth, and we saw so much more of Xaden
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like I know him way better, but their relationship,
Yeah, I loved that.
I felt like their relationship didn't really grow, but he grew.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to last, you guys. I don't know. To me, it just seems like,
I feel so much more for Xaden than I do for Violet.
yeah.
And it's not just because he's like shadow daddy, dark, mysterious, handsome. There's so much about his past too that I just like, I don't know. I feel a lot more tied to him than Violet.
I just feel like, how many times does he have to remind her that, like, I don't know. I just know men hate reminding women,
Reassuring them.
like, girl, I want you. You're the only girl I want. I love you.
But yeah,
I want to
she
be
needs
with
a lot.
you. Like, it was just so many times that I'm like, when are you going to get through your thick skull? I mean, maybe thin skull.
Did you guys see, there was an interview with Rebecca Yarros where she talked about how obviously Kat is introduced, and Katrina, I don't know, yeah, whatever
her name is.
And she's introduced, and then she said, I might be getting this a little bit wrong, but from my brain remembering, I believe she put in the throne scene so that people would know for sure it was not going to be a love triangle.
Oh,
got
Dane.
you.
No, with Kat,
Oh.
Xaden, and Violet. That there was going to be no chance of Xaden ever being with Kat.
Oh, I didn't ever think that it would
I
happen.
didn't think it would either. I just thought like she was just gonna keep trying to like win him back, and I didn't think he would actually fall for that. But I guess
we know Shadow Daddy better than that.
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of people in Fourth Wing were like, "Oh, love triangle." Yeah,
I'm sorry if I'm sounding harsh. I just have a lot of big feelings about this book.
No, I think it's okay because I feel like, I mean, if we all were like, this book was so perfect, 5 stars, and we just talked about all the things we loved, like, that's great. But it just goes to show you that, and we've said this a million times on the podcast, but like, what resonates with you isn't going to resonate with someone else. And like, not everyone is going to feel the same way about one book. And where I feel like most people thought this was like the best book ever, I feel like it's good to like talk about, I don't know, it's more of like
just a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I'm assuming you're going to still continue the series.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not going to read it.
Yeah.
It's just, I wish things were done just a little bit better.
And you're just hoping for more
Yeah.
in this like next book.
Yeah.
Should we talk about our loves
Yeah.
before we get into our hates?
I've started being really negative.
No,
I'm
you're
so
no.
sorry.
It's your opinion matters.
Thanks.
So
I don't even
Reggie.
think you've been that negative.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, it's a book review.
So
So
since you feel like you're being negative, how about you start it off with your love?
My love.
Yeah, your love. Or multiple.
Give me
if you
2
have
seconds. I just need to think. I feel like the negative stuff has just been boiling my blood. Wow, I can't talk. The negative stuff has been boiling my blood a little bit more, so I feel like I've been thinking about it a little bit more. But there was a lot of things I really liked about the book. I think, honestly, my favorite part is when Violet put together all the pieces about Andarna.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I was just like, my girl, Andarna, I love you.
Honestly, the dragons, once again, were a highlight of the book for me.
Yeah.
Always.
Tarn. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
Okay. He is just the GOAT. Love him. I don't know. And the banter between them, the grumpy and then Andarna being like the sassy teenager. I love that. I'm trying, you guys go first. Well, go after me and I'll maybe think of some more things that I liked.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Sure. I have like a random little list.
I love it.
The throne scene. Just kidding. That I wasn't being that serious about that one.
I mean, it was a
But-
great scene.
It was really something.
I mean, I'm not even just talking about the sex part. I'm just saying, like, the way he reassured her. Not the sex part, but you know what I mean? Like, it was just, like, him squashing all and trying to prove himself to her and take away all
I
of
feel like
her
that's just what every
insecurities.
woman wants. So
Yeah.
I think that's why everybody just ate
And
it up.
once again, it's not the sex. It was him taking her boots off that I liked. Like, it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, what did you guys think of Dane? Like,
Redemption arc.
yeah, what did you guys think of that? Because I kind of loved it.
I loved it.
I knew it was coming because after the first book came out, Rebecca literally said that's her favorite character.
Yeah.
So like I was like, okay, well he's gonna get a redemption arc. So I expected it.
Yeah. I really liked how she wrote that though, because especially with like Xaden's signet, he knew he was able to read him and be like, okay, like you're coming with us, instead of being like
I'm gonna
questioning him and so that's one thing that I did, because for a while I was like, where's Dane? He wasn't in like the first part of the book for a while. And then when he came back into play, I don't know, I knew he would probably have some sort of redemption arc, but I was happy with how that played out.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that he was the one to originally stab. What's his name? Varish?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too.
It was great.
And it's like, you can see he still really cares for Violet, even though, I don't know. Plus, it also made his actions in the first book seem a lot less severe when you finally got to hear more of like his side of it. So, I don't know. I really liked his little redemption arc. Michaela already kind of mentioned this, but like Andarna. I just feel like this book would not be this book without the dragons.
No.
The dragons really they're the icing on the cake. So I love that. I also really liked everything with Violet's mom, because she's so hard to read. The first half of this book, I was like, you say you're this, and really, what are you? I had like a lot of questions about her mom, but her in the end basically sacrificing herself and her whole little monologue, and they ripped me apart.
Can I tell you guys,
I loved it.
that part got spoiled for me on Goodreads.
It did?
And I still cried. Yeah, because someone liked someone else's review. All their review was, their review of the book was A Mother's Love. And I knew from that, I'm like, okay, well, the mom's going to sacrifice herself.
She's going to sacrifice herself. Sorry, the amount of times we mentioned that scene on the pod, it's so funny.
But I
hate that.
If you guys saw our reaction videos, I sobbed. Even though I knew her mom was going to sacrifice herself, I still sobbed because all I could think about was my mom, because my mom would do the exact same thing. Granted, my mom's a lot more loving, but it's just, yeah.
I feel like I wasn't as sad during that scene because I was confused. I had no idea what the freak was going on. It was a little
confusing, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Sloane was the one. I'm confused how the whole transaction happened. Like,
I think, wasn't it Sloane's hand on the stone, and then she was siphoning the mom's power
why can't
into
her
the
mom
stone?
just put it on the stone?
I don't know. Dramatic effect.
I think it was because there was something Sloane had that her mom didn't have with her signet. Is that right?
Or was it because... No, that's not it. Never mind. See, once again.
I don't know. The entire scene, that's literally my reaction. The one where I was like, that scene where I was reacting and I was like confused. And I was like, what is going on? I had no idea what was going on.
Well, she says something to Sloane where she's all like, I'm the one who killed your mother or your father or something. And I think she's doing it to kind of get her worked up. So she will put her hand up on... There was a reason. I can't remember the reason, but there was a reason that Sloane had to do it to help. I feel like it was something because of her signet.
Well, she can siphon powers.
Yeah, and so I feel like she needed Sloane's help in order to bring down the wards. That's what they were doing, right?
But I'm confused because wouldn't it take like all of Sloane's power too? Because that's where it was heading. It was going to take all of Violet and kill her.
I feel like Sloane was just kind of the middleman, and her mom was literally draining everything into Sloane through the...
But yeah, why couldn't her mom just put her hand on there and do it herself?
There's a reason, and I really don't remember. I remember kind of going back to read it, and I still, once again, was a little confused. I hope people listening aren't like, these girls are dumb.
You probably are, but...
but...
This was our experience.
Yeah.
If we're questioning, if you're listening and we don't understand something and you fully understand it, please DM us by all means. I would love to hear.
Yeah.
If someone understands it and I don't,
yeah,
I'm more than happy to understand. But
yeah, overall, I just really liked that ending.
The feeling behind
it's
it.
sad. Yeah. The feeling behind it. I felt like her kids they didn't need her to die, but like that closure with their mom, with all those negative feelings they had towards her, I feel like they just kind of needed that. And then also me just reading it as a mom, I was like, yeah. So I like that. The foreshadowing, like I said before, I really appreciated. There was so many things I was seeing on TikTok about the little inserts from, before the chapter starts, what do you call those? Excerpts from all the different books and whatevers. There were so many things that, they were like things you'd missed, but I think it's because they're things that you wouldn't catch until after the fact. But a lot of the ones that I've seen, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. So, and there's also a lot of theories around
we'll get into
things.
that.
So many theories.
But I'd say overall, those are my loves. And I just honestly, I loved the ending. Did it crush my heart into a million pieces to see that happen? It's not really what I was expecting for some reason. I know there was someone that left a review that was like, I totally called it, that Xaden was going to be Venom.
I thought it was gonna have to do with Violet.
I thought she was gonna get kidnapped.
Me too. Me too.
I knew Jack was gonna be Venom. I
you,
called
Michaela?
that, but I didn't think Xaden was. And so that moment where he's like has his back to her, I was like, and he's like not looking her in the eyes, because I'm like, you think that he would be like, are you okay? And they would be, you know, kissing and looking at each other like, oh, is everything okay? And he was just being all quiet. That's when I was like, oh, something just happened. And especially Violet's interaction with Scale before she went to go see him. I was like, you're kidding me. And you guys, I still, as much as like this book wasn't my absolute favorite, I cannot stop thinking about that ending and how torn up I am about it. But the thing is I loved it, and I really appreciate and love Rebecca that she's not afraid to make big moves in her books. I feel like sometimes, and not all the time, but a lot of authors kind of play things safe, keep characters around for things, and like, I don't know. I just like that she's not afraid to rip your heart out, especially with her main characters. So I don't know. I can't stop thinking about it. It like enters my mind probably like multiple times a day, because I'm just like, poor Xaden. I can see why people are like, I need this next book now. And I totally understand that, because I'm like, where is this going to go? We can talk about it in a minute. But like, I seriously finished that book and sat it down, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like I'm really hoping that this next book is my favorite. But I'm gonna set the expectations low. But I just feel like it's gonna rip my heart into a million pieces.
I'm ready for it.
I guess my question is, are you guys not confused by the ending?
There's things I'm still confused a little bit.
Because in order to be Venom, you have to draw power from.
So he chose it.
Yeah.
And the reason was that the Venom guy was saying, I'm going to kill Violet.
Either that, or like he was going to die, so he had no other choice.
Yeah, because if Xaden dies, Violet dies.
I mean, I think there's things about Xaden's family that we don't know about, but we'll get into that when we talk about theories. But yeah, I mean,
well, I guess the other thing I'm confused about is Violet saw his eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends, her point of view, and then Xaden's point of view starts, and they're just in bed, and he had a nightmare. He woke up and then went to Jack's jail cell.
I mean, yeah. I'm assuming they're still together, because I think the next book is going to be them trying to cure him. So
yeah, I think so
full
too.
Venom.
But I just think literally just like fine and dandy and go to sleep. I don't know. It just seemed a little like we missed like 5 steps in between.
Yeah. Well, it did this is the one thing that confused me, was like his POV at the end. There wasn't really like a gap. I don't know if you guys noticed this. There wasn't really a gap. So it starts with his interaction with the Venom.
Yeah.
And there's that. And then all of a sudden it's like he wakes up, and there wasn't like a gap. So I was really confused. I was like, did he just dream that? And I was like, no, that was real. I just feel like the way that it was formatted in his point of view, there wasn't a gap.
Oh, I thought he woke up from that dream. It was a dream.
Yeah.
But was that his actual interaction with the Venom?
I don't know. That's why I'm really confused about, because
well, remember throughout the book, he kept saying, there's something they want from me.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about this theory right now. I think those dreams Violet were having were Xaden's dreams.
I think so too.
I don't think they were her dreams. So basically, this is so stupid. Okay. This is how I picture in my head. You guys, this is so dumb. So in the first Avengers movie, Tony Stark gets shot up into space, and Thanos basically, he has this interaction, and Thanos basically gets into Tony's head. And then throughout all the other movies, there's like this foreshadowing about Tony and Thanos, because he's had this interaction.
Yeah.
So a part of me wonders, I'm like, has Xaden had this interaction with the Venom before? He did on the battlefield, at least Violet did. So can the Venom somehow, in the same aspect of like this Avengers stuff, can the Venom get into their brain and give them dreams? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
they also wanted Violet too.
I mean, I think they wanted Violet for her power, but I think there's something about Xaden's family or Xaden's past that has
they
to do
need
with
him
the
for.
Venom.
Yeah,
know,
I
guess-
kind of.
You go.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I just saw it as. This is how I took it as the first time I read it. The Venom approaches Xaden, and he basically is like, "You can either be Venom, or I'm gonna take something from you that he wants that's we don't know about." Or they were gonna like kill Violet, and he had no choice but to become Venom to save her and some other thing that we don't know yet. That's kind of how I saw it as. I was still a little confused, but I kind of think it's not supposed to completely make sense.
Yeah.
So
I also have a question about the ward.
I honestly, the whole ward thing, I was...
Well, doesn't it kill the wyverns and the venom? Because once they got the wards up, they were dropping like flies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why does it not affect Jack or Xaden, so to say?
I don't know.
I guess
So
maybe
many
we'll find out more.
questions.
I just... Oh, also like the Doctor Strange stuff.
Wait, what?
I forget what it's called. Like they were...
Oh my gosh, the runes. The runes. It is totally like Doctor Strange. Shut up. I literally, that went right over my head. I was like, well, they're doing Doctor Strange stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I don't fully understand those either. I mean, I do kind of. They like put it in the, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
People are probably like, these girls are so dumb.
I don't know.
But hopefully you guys have some of these same questions and we're not alone in the thoughts that we have. Sorry, continue your thought.
No, that was it.
Oh, I need to share my loves.
Oh yeah, share your
Oh,
list.
My
Sorry.
list is basically
We're getting
the
ahead of
same. I'm just
ourselves.
gonna add one other thing. So I loved a lot of the same things as these guys. I really liked the chapter 65, the excerpt. It's right after Violet's mom dies in her unsent correspondence saying that like basically the only way she'll die is for her kids. I thought that was really sweet.
So sweet.
Also, the other thing that I'll mention that hasn't been mentioned is Liam. The Liam hallucinations.
the
I
Liam
really love
scene.
those. I really love that. It's weird because I thought, like, I cry in everything, I swear, but I didn't cry when she saw Liam again.
I guess I was like, oh, is he alive?
So,
I was having hallucinations too.
but yeah, that's probably the only other thing I would say that is an additional love that wasn't mentioned because I just love Liam so much. Oh, also, I love Riddick.
He's so funny.
He's a little cheesy, quirky, funny guy, and I just love that he kind of brings in a little bit of comedic relief to this really intense world.
Yeah.
I watched an interview that said, I think Dane's her favorite character, but Riddick is her favorite to write.
Yeah.
So I hope to see more from him. Honestly, he's a funny guy.
Wait, reminds me.
What does he look like? Couldn't tell you.
I know. Who is the one that got his leg bitten off?
Oh,
Sawyer.
Sawyer. Okay.
He's redhead.
I get those confused a lot. Those
Yeah.
two.
I
don't
think
know
Sawyer's
why.
a redhead.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic. Her jumping off.
Okay, here's my question.
But I was a little confused about the whole scene
This
too.
is not a question that's very, very deep. But this whole book, and even Fourth Wing, I'm always like, how are they holding on to their dragons? Because I know that Violet has a chair, okay? She's strapped in. But everyone else is kind of riding bareback, right?
Yeah.
So when their dragons are barrel rolling through the sky,
I don't think they're bareback. I think they do have like
they have something, but I don't feel
I
like
just
it's been
don't
mentioned
think
that
they
I've caught.
have like
A
she
strap. She
has
has a
like
strap
a
over.
strap that keeps her in.
And
Yeah,
I
but
think
no
the
one else
saddle,
does.
I honestly think when they were talking about a saddle, I think they were talking about Andarna's saddle
Yeah.
because
But she
strapped
has
onto
her
him.
chair because remember she like gets stuck in it
She's
or
strapped.
something.
Yeah.
I think
And
she
then
has a strap.
they're jumping on to the other things and it doesn't say anything like I sat down and you know what I mean? It's like, then they're like running around. I'm like, how are you not falling off of these dragons? I know it's a make-believe world.
Well, I feel like
real
strong thighs to
But
hold
I just
on.
think if you are going upside down and you're riding something bareback, your arms got to be dangling. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh, and then I don't know. Plus, I'm like, they ride these dragons for like 18 hours.
I put a bed on
I'm
the
like-
back.
I'm like, how are you not falling? Like, if you are literally, and these dragons are huge, how are you wrapping your legs?
I think they have saddles
Let me look up some fan
I
art.
don't know.
because there's
But-
no way they would just be able to pull a saddle out of their butt for Violet if they don't already make them.
Well, didn't Zayden have it made for
Yeah,
her?
he had it.
Yeah,
made
he
for her.
hadn't made it for her, but I feel like
But
they
they
have
tell
to
you
have
when you
some
do
type
threshing, when you do threshing, a lot of people don't make it through threshing after they bond with a dragon because they fall off. So it can't be a secure.
Well, I think threshing
thing.
they don't. I don't know. I guess Violet did fall off multiple times, and
I
Taryn
don't
was
know.
like,
In
I
my
got you,
mind,
girl."
They're not holding on, like they are just holding on to the scales, and I'm like, how are they doing that?
I don't know. That's a great question, Reggie.
But and then they're like jumping from dragon to dragon, and it's so epic. But I'm like, how is this?
This fan art literally has him just like straight up,
Yeah.
no saddle.
But I'm like, your
Holding on to
crotch,
the horns?
your crotch has got to be hurting pretty bad. Like, I hope they're going to pelvic floor therapy in this book because
But then you see this one, and the dragon isn't as thick. So then this one, he's literally just straddling it like a horse with no saddle.
Pretty thick.
So I don't know.
This is how I imagine it.
Cute little Andarna.
And Darna, but
She's
she's
a-
no
she's
longer
a
gold.
baby.
I'm so sad about it.
also not Andarna just wanting to be just like Taryn.
Oh, that's why she had black scales. Oh,
I love it.
Literally the
Honestly,
sweetest
you know,
thing.
that's a great question, Reggie. I wish I had the
don't know.
answer.
Rebecca,
And I wish
you
we.
were-
honestly, we really should get Rebecca on our podcast. That would be
A dream.
a dream.
Yeah, I
Oh.
just
Well, here's hers.
yeah. See, she's
Yeah,
like
she's
strapped, in there.
So no. Well,
Yeah, and I just question. I'm like, when they are riding for 12 hours at a time, like, oh, we got to head back to Basgaiath. It's like an 8-hour flight. I mean, I know they don't have a pilot. I mean, they don't have people giving them snacks and drink. I know they probably are stopped. They got a bag with something.
Suspend all
if you-
disbelief.
I don't
I'm
know.
just kidding.
I just, for some reason, I just want to understand how they hold on to their dragons. And also after reading this book, I would officially be a scribe. I would. I couldn't
probably would be too.
I couldn't do any of these.
I'd actually
things.
probably try and fall off the parapet. So
So you could die?
I would die for no. I wouldn't purposely die, but I know I would die.
Oh,
Like I wouldn't survive.
I want to be in infantry.
I would sit on the parapet like
I
this.
would pass out.
I would put my legs around it and I would just scoot. That's what I would do.
If anyone would survive, it would be Kennedy.
It
I
yeah,
don't
it
know
would.
about that.
It would.
She would be the baddest A around. No.
Okay. Do you guys want to share your hates?
Oh, hates.
Like what you didn't love,
I
or do you
mean,
feel
I
like
feel like we shared most of what we didn't love.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's anything small that was not very important that I
Jack.
didn't love.
Well, my question is, why did he save her in that I mean, whatever, it's fine.
Why are you smiling, Reggie?
Because I was just remembering our fan cast for Fourth Wing, which I feel like we could definitely update. But do you guys remember who we have on our fan
don't
cast
remember
for Jack?
Any.
Me either.
I'm pretty sure. it
Honestly,
was
the guy
Ruby
that
Panko.
plays the guy
Panko.
in the first Hunger Games that plays Kato, he would
Oh,
be
yeah?
a really good Jack. Except he's probably older now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everything that I grew up watching, I'm like, oh, they'd be so great in this movie, but
They're
they're
old.
older now. I gotta.
Yeah, see, it was my boy Rudy Panko.
He would have to
can
get
just see
really, really.
Everyone would have to get absolutely jacked.
Yeah.
Which we can say this, when we recorded our TV movie adaptation episode, we recorded that before we knew that Fourth Wing was going to be a TV series. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see who they.
Did you
cast.
guys see the TikToks that were saying they felt like this book, Iron Flame, was written like a TV show.
Yeah, I did see that.
Because by the time that she had written this, it was already picked up. So people were feeling like she wrote it with a TV show in mind.
Yeah.
I
mean, I didn't feel like it was like
happens. I feel like that can't happen all that often.
Well, Mongolia. Magnolia. Why I can't.
Magnolia.
Gosh, I'm gonna name my child that so I can nail it down. Magnolia Parks is picked up for a TV show, and it's not completed yet.
Yeah, but at least there's literally 5 books.
That's
4,
true.
almost 5.
I actually think it's insane that it's already been picked up for a TV show.
Do we think it's actually gonna happen though?
Guess we'll see.
I don't know. My expectations are really low because so many books and shows get picked up
and then they don't actually happen.
Meow.
I know there's a lot of hype around this, so I could see them wanting to push it out really fast, but I can't wait. I hope they at least get to the point where they cast people so I can see who they cast. That would be
Well, is
fun.
the writing strike over or is it still going
It's over.
on?
The writers and actors strike is over.
Anyways, let's talk about some theories.
Oh, I got a whole note because there
I
are
wish
so
I didn't
many
write
people.
any notes for theories,
There
but
are so many people that have a lot of theories, and honestly, will you share your thoughts on theories that you shared with us? Because I really love your take on it.
Okay. Where to start? I think theories are dumb. Just kidding. I don't think they're dumb. It's just, I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of the theories that people were having after Fourth Wing, she literally debunked 95% of them.
yeah.
With like her mom actually being a good person and like not creating the wind and storm to be stronger when Violet was crossing the parapet and all of that stuff. And I also feel like it sets unrealistic expectations for the book because maybe that's not the direction at all that the author is going to go with. And so I feel like you go into the book with already a preconceived notion that like, oh, this is going to happen, this better happen. And if it doesn't, you're disappointed. And I think and maybe that's like, if you wouldn't have looked into those theories or created this theory, you would have no reason to be disappointed. I felt the same way about the last book in Once Upon a Broken Heart. Everyone had all these theories and literally none of them happened, and I was so disappointed by it, and I maybe wish I would have just taken the book as it is and not looked into theories as much.
Because sometimes the theories that people come up with are so good, and they would be so good in the book, but like you're saying,
The author has a different route. And
Yeah.
it's not always what you would want it to be.
yeah.
That's what's hard.
So take theories with a grain of salt because
Don't
I
expect anything to happen in this next book. I just
Yeah.
feel like go into the book just being like, whatever happens. These theories are other people's brains. It's not us giving the author feedback and criticism about what should happen in the next book. She probably already has like the entire plot of what's going to happen.
Well, she in an interview, people were like, when are we going to hear about this certain topic? And she literally said book 5, the Jacinia thing, how she's transcribing it. She basically was like, you'll find out in book 5 what that's all about. So I do think, authors know what's going to go into each book.
Yeah. And I still think theories are really fun. It's very fun to talk about them. But yeah, it's not something that I'm not going to go into this third book being like, okay, so this is what Violet's second signet is. Because even though a lot of the theories I've seen about that, for example, may be correct because there is, a lot of evidence maybe to back it up, we could be all so wrong. Like, for example, a lot of people are saying that they think Violet's signet, which I also agree, is that she can summon the dead or like talk to the dead or something of that sort. Example, her hallucinating seeing Liam makes a lot of sense to me, but like it could totally be something different. And I don't want to set myself up for disappointment and be like, it has to be that. That's what it is. It better be that. And then if it's something different, be like, oh, I was really hoping that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you just have, you got to look into theories with an open mind. And It is fun to see, though, the things that people caught that I didn't catch.
Yeah.
That's why I like to look at theories, because I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have caught that if I wouldn't have seen this video. But I think it's one thing to look into theories and be like, okay, cool. And another thing to be like, if Rebecca doesn't do this in the next book, I'm going to be so upset. So.
Well, I mean, let's talk about Violet's signet, because Rebecca has said that it's manifested in this book and all the clues are there in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what else could it be? What else has she shown other than the whole Liam thing? I've also been seeing theories that she like amplifies people's signets when they're around her. I've been seeing that. But to me, I'm like, I don't really know what else was shown in this book other than something to do with
to
the
that
dead.
big of a degree.
Yeah.
Like, she wouldn't have just thrown Liam in there.
Yeah, you would think. So
I don't know, but it's just weird that it's only happened once during the book.
I swear it happened twice. I think she saw him twice.
Yeah.
She did?
She saw him in the interrogation room.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, when did she see him again?
I don't know.
I know
but
she saw him again.
twice.
I don't know. There's also the theories like with Andarna. I don't know how to, I don't want to like get all over the place with theories. So I guess we can stick with Violet's signet.
I don't have anything else to share about her signet.
You can do whatever. I'm just saying, sorry, I didn't mean to say theories are dumb.
No, you didn't.
I think I should have said theories are dumb.
Well,
but I didn't mean it like that. I just think that people get way too heavily invested in them, and I just think, for me personally, I am trying not to get invested in them because I've already been so disappointed by a book because I was invested in them, and I was so disappointed. Like, I rated the book so badly because I was like, this didn't happen, and I'm like looking back and I'm like, well, that's not how she writes books. So sorry, if you like theories and you love to look into them, that's awesome for you. I just feel like my brain can't let go of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like,
over it.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh, that's cool. But I'm not like looking at every theory video there is because it's also like 10 minutes long.
No, I get it.
Well, and expectations, having high expectations for something that you hope to happen and then it not happening is seriously the most disappointing feeling. Like, I still get so sad that I was so disappointed in the end of Kingdom of Ash, but it's because I had these different expectations based off of things people were saying on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just like
and
what you said, just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I think Reggie said that.
Sorry.
It's fine.
I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm being so freaking annoying this episode.
No,
I
got what you meant, but maybe it's because I understand you, but I totally understand. I got what you meant.
Okay.
I wasn't
Thanks.
taking, I don't think
Thanks.
anyone's going to take
Well,
offense.
and there's so many things that I wouldn't have thought of if it wouldn't have been for like maybe something you didn't agree with or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of, that's why I like doing this podcast, is because there's things in books that I don't catch or things I'm confused by that maybe you understand, or I don't know. I think that's like the fun of it. Would not be fun if we just sat here and the whole time we're like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's
Uh-huh.
it.
Mhm.
5 stars.
Okay.
Yeah, but jumping into theories for those of you who maybe want to hear some of our theories.
None of these are my theories. They're theories I saw someone else talk about on
literally
TikTok.
the only theory I have, which Kennedy said this in a text message to me. You were saying how you think the next couple books are gonna go. You were like, book 3 is gonna be you can
I'll
say
go find it. I don't remember what I said. Let's see. So I decided. Let me find the text because it was probably the only the most.
This is such a tame theory. Like, it's nothing crazy. But the way that Kennedy explained this, I was like, yes, this is exactly how I see it going.
This is what I said. Book 3 is going to be Xaden slowly losing himself and he turns full Venom. Book after that is them getting him back. Then the final one is them finally defeating the Venom.
Yeah. And I think they'll still be trying to get him back in the next book. But I think this next book is going to absolutely wreck us as readers. I'm not setting like that expectation too high where I'm like I better have my heart ripped out, but knowing how Rebecca is in the way that she talks in her interviews about how she's like, I'm not afraid to make people cry. I'm not afraid to kill people off in books. I have a feeling that this next book might just leave me more heartbroken. But
I kind of have low expectations, only for the fact that I feel like I had such high expectations for this book, and it wasn't necessarily a letdown, but it did let me down.
yeah.
So I feel like my expectations are a little bit lower for the next one, and hopefully it will exceed my expectations. But yeah.
I can't remember any of the theories I've seen.
One that I saw is that, okay, so do you guys remember who Naolin is?
Nolan?
It's Naolin.
Is that how you say it?
I
I always
don't
just
know,
went across
honestly.
it. Nolan.
Whatever. That's Taryn's writer before Violet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm thinking of the wrong person.
So I've seen theories that he is the sage. He turned venom saving Brennan.
Okay.
And that's how he's able to talk to Violet and Xaden in their dreams, is because he's connected to them through Taryn. Because think about it.
That's cool.
Taryn, you know what I mean? That's why Violet and Xaden can talk, is through Taryn and Scale. So that's how he's able to talk to them
Okay.
through their dreams.
Okay.
Which I feel like could be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like along that realm, people are talking about how that they keep saying that there's less amount of dragons being bonded, and it's because their riders are venom. But that kind of debunks the other theory of Naolin being venom, because that would mean that Taryn couldn't bond with Violet if he's already a bonded dragon. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. I like the Naolin theory better, but there is, you notice in the book how Taryn keeps saying like there's things that dragons are hiding from their riders.
Yeah.
So there's something that the dragons know that the humans don't, or there's something going on with the dragons.
Can dragons bond to two people?
I don't know.
One that I have seen, it's more like, I would say more like speculation than theory, but you know how Violet has her condition and she has like the silver in her hair?
Mm-hmm.
I was seeing something about how Violet's mom was venom. The thing I don't understand is like, if she's not venom anymore, how is she not venom? Why hasn't she said anything about how she cured herself? But maybe she didn't want people to know that she was venom, because there's some sort of callback. I don't know if it's in Fourth Wing or Iron Flame, where Violet talks about her family got moved, was stationed somewhere. I can't remember what it's called. Yes. The area where that battle went on with the venom when she was a kid.
Oh.
And her mom came in late after the battle, and she said her mom had bloodshot eyes. And something like her mom was never the same after that battle. And then people were saying that if Violet's signet is to summon the dead or like talk to the dead, that she's going to have to bring her mom back and ask her, like, she's going to have to figure out that her mom was venom, and she's going to have to get her mom's help on how do I cure Xaden. But people were also saying that maybe Violet's mom was venom when she was pregnant with Violet, and that's why there was like complications with her pregnancy, and why Violet has her interesting hair. And I don't know.
That's interesting. Well, there's a correspondent between, and is it her and the healer?
Yes, I believe so.
And is it to her to him or him to her?
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about, because they say basically they've exhausted all the options and there's no cure. So Violet's mom wanted a cure for some reason.
So then how would she be cured?
Well, that's the thing I don't understand, because I'm like, you can tell when someone's venom based off of looking at their eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So obviously, if her mom had these bloodshot eyes at one point and then she doesn't have them anymore,
why doesn't Jack have the bloodshot eyes? It's because he's
He
taking that suppressant.
Oh,
Is that why?
Oh, I thought he had them.
I've also been seeing, I saw along the same lines that her dad is venom, and that's why her mom was looking for a cure.
Yeah, I've also seen that too.
Hmm.
And then he's actually vented right now.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
There was just a girl that made a TikTok and she was highlighting that paragraph where Violet is explaining how her family got moved to this base and her mom came back with bloodshot eyes. And she was like, why would Rebecca have added that in there?
Well, also, I wonder if Zayden's mom,
Yeah, we don't.
There's something with
Something
her.
with his family.
something with her. 'Cause
Mhm.
his dad's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Killed by Brennan? Nope.
Her mom.
Her mom?
I think her mom.
Mom? So he dead. Mom, however.
She kind of just up and ran, right?
Yeah. Because the deal was she had to produce an heir, right?
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
she could be free or whatever.
Mhm.
That's curious.
Which also, he's basically like a king.
Yeah.
And it's not really like talked about like all that much. So I almost wonder if that has something to deal with why the Venom want Zayden. I just feel like it has something to do with his past and his family. So
I don't know. I'm very curious about how this is going to go.
yeah. I don't have any other theories that I'm like dying to talk about. There's so many on TikTok if you want to go do a little deep dive. There was one girl, I wish I could remember her name or like saved any of her videos, but I don't think I did. But she basically goes through all of the different excerpts from the different things at the beginning of each chapter.
Yeah.
And
Can I also,
Yeah.
we will post, when this episode goes live, we will post
oh yes,
the best TikTok that was ever made on planet Earth. What is her, I don't know what her username is. It has a K, the hand heart emoji, and a white heart. And it says book talk. Okay. She created Iron Flame cheat sheets. And you guys, these cheat sheets has everybody's name, their dragon's name, what color and what tail they have, and their signet. And then it also talks about what each dragon's color is and what attributes go with each color of dragon. And then it goes through all the cities. It's literally
awesome.
the best cheat sheet
That's
ever.
crazy.
Because I couldn't keep track of whose dragon was what and signet. So
Well, we need to tell people it's a spoiler, though.
oh, it is a spoiler, yes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so if you haven't read
If you
before
ha-
we post it, we'll post that it's a spoiler. But yeah, I'm assuming all of you guys listening to this have read through
Well,
Iron
yeah.
Flame,
When we
but-
post it, we just need to say this
Yeah.
is a spoiler for Iron Flame, so don't look at it
Mm-hmm.
until you're done.
Yeah.
True.
Because someone literally commented on TikTok and was like, didn't know this had spoilers in it. I haven't finished yet.
On one of ours?
No, on that. On the
Oh,
cheat
Yeah,
sheet.
because it shows like what the other signets
Oh, it
are.
shows the Zayden's probably double
Yeah.
signet. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do
Cool.
that.
So I would hate for someone to get spoiled from us. So
Me too.
that's why I'm like, we need to make sure.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, even though it was all over the place. There's just so much to talk about from one book. It's crazy how we just get a little ahead of ourselves, but we hope you enjoyed. We hope you enjoyed Iron Flame. We would love to hear your thoughts. You can chat about it on our Discord, which we always need to post a new link for it every time.
Not
Talk about-
anymore.
No?
I fixed it.
You fixed it?
I fixed it.
Okay, sweet.
Great.
Yeah, you can chat about it with us on our Discord where we can like put all the spoilers together and chat about it. Send us some DMs if you feel confident in knowing and understanding things that we didn't understand. We love chatting with you guys in our DMs and appreciate all of your kind messages always. And also thanks again for the merch drop that we did again, our other pre-sale. You guys sold out of our brown. I think we've already talked about this. I can't remember, but we're just feeling very grateful for you guys. So thank you.
We
We
are.
love you guys. Remember to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Our usernames are What She's Reading Pod. And if you're enjoying the podcast, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. We would love that if you did it. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.